Hi, this is a short video just to go over some basic hints and tips for crafting or scrapbooking, cutting out, graphics basics, anything like that really, where you want to cut out an image safely and precisely. I suppose the key aspect is. This video was part of a series that will help you use the tools that professionals use for taking images out of magazines or anything like that, and actually using them in your own mood boards or any kind of design practice really. So the first thing to look at is your tools that you're going to actually use. First one being the scalpel that you're going to use. You want to use anything that's comfortable for you. This one is my preferred one because it has a nice flat side on, so you can rest your finger on. The blade is always crucial for the blade to be very sharp, so you want to use a new one each time you're trying to cut if possible. If not, just try and ensure that the blade is nice and crisp when you're cutting out, that it's not chipped, because the sharper the blade, the easier the cut, which we'll get into a little bit later on. Also, when you're using it, ensure that the blade is securely in place and in your scalpel itself. There's very many different designs of scalpel, but this is my preferred one. Next item, which is also crucial, is a steel ruler. You can get various different sizes and shapes. I prefer the flat size ruler, flat type, because it's a lot easier to use. You can control it. Some rulers will have a grip on the back which will stop it from sliding, but you need always to use a metal ruler if possible. If you're using a plastic ruler such as this one, it's a bit of a nightmare, because when you're cutting you can often take chunks out of the plastic, and then the next time you're cutting it'll be going all in that slot that you've cut out previously or chipped away, and you'll not have a very flat cut whatsoever. So therefore it's very important that you use a metal ruler, whilst also some raised profiles as well, which depending on your proficiency, if it's raised it's deemed as safer. For me, I prefer the closeness to the paper when you're cutting, just to make sure that I can see everything that's going on. I can see how far my hands are far back, and I know it's not going to cut me. Something to always bear in mind is always take your time also. And last but not least, the humble cutting mat. Now you can get these in all sorts of different sizes and shapes. I've had mine for many years now. It's a basic plastic style mat, which is classed as self-healing. So when you cut it, for example, and you go through, it'll eventually cover itself up a little bit, and not take chunks out of it when you're cutting it. Cutting mats are very important because they give you stability when you're resting on. If you were just cutting on the wood, you'd obviously damage your desk, but you'd also not have much of a grip compared to the mat. It's also vital that you try and keep your mat clean. This isn't a very good example because there's dirt all over the show, but if you, say for example, doing graphic studies like I did when I was younger, or anything else, you always need to make sure that the desk you're working on is as clean as possible, so that you're not rubbing any dirt on anything that you're wanting to cut out and eventually keep and use. So that's pretty much it for the starting. So just to summarise, you want your cutting mat, which you can see in the picture. You wish for a ruler, metal, 30 centimeters or 15 or whatever you choose, and also a scalpel with sharp blade, always a sharp blade. One other point to mention is illumination. As you can see, there's a light shining. This is a desk lamp that I always use. It's really important when you're cutting out to use a light. As you can see, when I'm turning it off, I can't see, the detail is not highlighted, and it's not very good whatsoever. So when you have a nice bright light for where you're focusing, obviously it's not great when it's reflecting off the ruler in front of you. However, these items are a must for any kind of crafting or basic studies. And in the next episode I'll quickly show you the most straightforward way of cutting an image out that I'm wanting to keep. Hope you enjoy the video. Thanks, bye.